world you are in. This is a big girl diary. Yes. How's it going? Now, I'm getting ready to talk about something that can be uh, a hot topic, a very hot topic. So, recently, Roe v. Wade has been completely dismantled. Now, there are some people who are outraged about it, and there are some people who are happy about it because some people feel that they don't want that placed, not placed, but let me backtrack a little bit. There are some people believe that having that termination of a child is a right. Some people believe that terminating a child is not a right. So there's always going to be that two right there. But let me get to where I'm really going. And where I'm really going is um, did feminism go too far, or is it just in our imaginations? Now there are some people who would say, "Oh, it's just all in our imaginations. That's it." And I can say that's furthest from the truth. I say that that's one way that people can look at it and not want to can basically really get involved in anything. And which is a sad thing because we really have to get involved. We do. So, is it our imaginations? Well, I say that it has gone too far. When it first started out, feminism has first started out, it made sense. Women wanted the right to vote, and there was a fight against that. And it took women to win. Now, I thought it was interesting was right after slavery, women were saying, "I want a right to vote." They're like, "No, I'm going to give the free slave men the right to vote. Still, you don't get one, women." Eventually, women did win back in the 1920s through women's suffrage. But I don't want to dangle there too long, no. Now, 1970s. Oh my goodness. It was all about freedom of sexuality. It was all about free love, no war, have sexual relations. I mean, it was a free for all. And that's when they start pushing contraceptives and being able to have a little bit of any and everything to completely indulge. Is it right? I'm not here to say, but that's what happened. That was between the 60s and 70s. Now, here's where it gets quite interesting. 1990s. You you have they put Anita Hill, and Anita Hill was saying Clarence Thomas he did this. Now it comes out after when he was confirmed for Supreme Court justice when he was confirmed that she didn't tell the truth. This is where feminism really took a turn for the upside down bizarro world because of women like Anita Hill. It brings Dr. what's her name Ford into 2000s with the same scenario. Um, Justice Kavanaugh did this to me 30 years ago and asking him, "Did you drink a beer? Did you not drink a beer?" And then when he was confirmed, it came out that she didn't tell the truth. Is that in our imaginations? Or did feminism go too far? Now, what's going on now? Oh my goodness. Women, or shall I say young girls who were raised by women like this, were given are told that you could do whatever you want to do, be whatever you want to be. You can be with as many men as possible. You can date, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But what they forgot to ask was, do the men matter? Whatever they think, do they matter? No, they don't matter. I mean, it's to the point that, oh my goodness, you have young girls who are telling men or young guys saying, this is what a man wants. This is what a guy wants. Okay, well, did you ask him? No, I don't need to ask him because I know. Well, how did you know if you didn't ask him? How do you know what a guy wants? In their minds, that makes sense. It makes complete sense in their minds because that's what they're told. I can I can do anything. I can and I can beat a man in a physical contact. I can beat a man in everything because women can do everything what a man can do and do it better. Okay. Oh my goodness. The delusion is real. Now, men have to marry these women. Okay. There's going to be some point in time where these women are going to get married and men are going to have to put up with this stuff, in which they did. Now you have, what's it called? Men going their own way. Men are even go as far as going to another country marrying women because they're saying American women are too toxic. Now, women, all of us do not prescribe to this because we need to get our crazy sisters in check because this is crazy. It's wild. Feminism has gone too far. It has. Well, I don't want to put my mindset or what I think onto you. You can tell me what you think. You can put something down in the chat and let me know what you think. But feminism was rooted in something that made sense. It did. Equality. I want to vote. That's it. One vote, one count for all people. Now there are videos of women attacking everyone, and they call them Karens. Now, Karen is a completely delusional feminist. I mean, we got a sundry of different examples of this. Whether if there's like a no-name person that goes viral for being delusional and a straight feminist, and I don't want to say, okay, let me backtrack. Not just simply feminist, but let me say a new wave feminist that brings in everything. Now, transgender women are considered feminists. When did that happen? When? But they're the new feminists. You, you can't make this up. You truly can't. You truly can't make this up. Now within this new wave of feminists, now you have women, young women, who were screaming, "Well, where are all the men at?" Um, that yeah, yeah, you did that. You did. Now, where do we go from here? If a man speaks out and says, "Hey, that right there is ridiculous," that's toxic masculinity. You are a misogynist. You throw hurl all types of names at that poor man by just simply trying to add some correction because you're beyond correction. No, you can't be corrected. Nope. Mm-mm. Now here's the funny part. I find this okay. Yeah, I do find this kind of funny. Now there's a fight between a transgendering woman and the women, to where now the transgender women are saying, um, you know, you're not a real woman. I'm a woman. The delusion is great. It's did feminism go too far, or is it in our imaginations? I gotta say, it's in someone's imagination. It really is. But now there's a fight to where transgender women want to be treated like women and say that at some point we are going to have babies and you are going to be sitting over there. We're going to teach you how to treat a man because you feminists don't know anything about how to treat a man. We're going to teach you. We're going to show you how to treat a man. And I got to say, that is wild. That is not only wild, but on a level of scary. It's kind of scary because there are a certain group of men who were saying, you know something, transgender women, you have a point. Not all men prescribe to that, but there are some men who do, saying like women don't know how to treat a man. They're act like men. They jump on us like men. They just treat us like they jump on us like they are a man. And you see it out in the street. There's always those young girls who jump in a guy's face when they hit him and slap him, and then when he can't take it and he just does this, she falls on the ground and says, "Oh, I'm calling the police." Remember, you don't need a man. Remember that? But it goes even deeper. It goes deep into the psychology that the women really believe that they can do better than a man. And I have to say, transgender women happens to be the answer to what these women are actually saying within themselves. Uh, we can go all day long on this, down to transgender women getting into sports. I don't want to go into that part of it because that right there is a big a big talking point just in itself. But I thought that it was quite interesting the way feminism is going. And I find it even more interesting how young women are responding to the new wave from feminism. They have no idea that feminism started back in the 1800s to where women just simply want the right to vote. They were all married. They were all married. It wasn't that they hated their men. No, they just wanted equality. That was it. But something about the 1970s, that what 70, 80 year span to the 60s and the 70s, like I said earlier, that's where all the chaos came in. Now we could say Gloria Steinem, her being an FBI asset. I want to know what kind of crime she committed to turn feminism into something completely different than what it was. You had women back then saying, "Hey, I'm happy being a housewife, and I love my husband, and I really don't need to be out there working and trying to be better than a man. I'm not a man. I'm quite content where I am." But women who prescribed to that were called conservative. They were called horrible names and were put down horribly. And even today, same thing. You have the same women who are looked down at want to be housewives, and women who are working look down on that. I don't need a man. I got a job. I make over $100,000 a year. I make $150,000 a year. And if I date a guy, I'm not going to date a guy that has my type of salary. He need to make more money. If he makes less money, oh, I'm dating down. But men have always dated down. When they got with women, women had nothing. They had no money. They didn't. And still, and for the most part, still don't. Saying I need a guy making $1 million a year if you want to get with me. Now feminism has been monetized. To be with a woman, you have to have money. You have to pay her. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is beyond ridiculous. I'm trying so hard not to be judgmental, but this stuff right here, you can't do nothing but judge it because it's outrageous for the most part. You even now it's even at the point where you have people that are on IG. They call them IG models. Well, is that what you really want to call them? IG models? Or do you want to call it for what it actually is? Modern day pro sit choose on. I gotta watch what I say. Is that what it is? Because when they come, you gotta have some money. And they look and it's outrageous. The whole movement has been taken over and just turned upside down and bastardized in a way that is so detrimental for women to where it's hard for us to even find a man that is a traditional man. They're very hard to find. But when you do, you hold on to them and grab them. Because the rest are raised, not all, but most are raised by feminists whom have the mindset that I don't need a man. I can raise this boy to be a man because I know what it takes for I know what it takes to raise a boy to be a man because I know what men need. But you never asked a man at all. You never asked a man, what does it take? What is it to even walk in their shoes? What does that look like? It's all in a feminist head. Oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can slay the world. No, but then when you fall short and then you need to actually defend yourselves, then who do you call? You call another man to defend you from another man. And here's the interesting part: lesbians and transgender men. Okay, it's interesting now that lesbians are coming out saying that when they're with their girlfriends and then a guy comes up and tries to hit on their girlfriend's looking at her like, come on, get him. He said something out the way to me, get him. And she's looking like, what do you want me to do with it? I mean, it's it's a total breakdown. And then when you have transgender men, same thing, same thing. You may feel like a man. You may even go as far as having that appendage and everything else that goes on. Well, not everything else, but for the most part, for a man. But when it comes to defending your woman, you can't because you're not a man. Now, you may be able to tussle with some guys, but not all of them. Not all of them. Feminism back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s have given women a, a bill, a bill that would never, ever, ever be fulfilled. It would only be up here, but it would never be in actuality. You can sit there and bark and say, I can do better than a man, I can do this, I can do that. But when it comes to performance, men perform tasks. Women women perform gossip and delusion and all of those things. And refuse to say, maybe I might need to take a back seat, shut my mouth, and maybe I just may say, hey, let a man be a man and let me sit back and be a woman. Because I'm encroaching on his side of the street without regard of anything. I'm just going to walk on over there. But let me say, let me take a step back and let me stay in my lane. Let me do that. Do you ever see that happening? I think it would take, oh my goodness, I think it would take an asteroid to come from outer space that hit the earth to make the conditions so rough to where women will have to stop and submit to a man and really understand what a man does because he puts life, limb, and property on the line. Life, limb, property, and money on the line. Women don't do that. Feminists don't do that. Do you ever see a feminist paying for lunch? No. Do you ever see a feminist um, sitting her own self in a seat and pulling her chair up? No. She wants the right, but not the responsibility of what it takes to be a man. No responsibility at all. Zero, none, zilch, nada. But I hope, and this is just simply me hoping, that there will be a change. I really hope there will be a change. And that women can see what they're doing to men. In some communities, and I could only speak of the black community because I'm black, is that that 50% of black men are childless and are not married. So when these feminists do go after men, they go after the playboys and then wonder why life is so miserable. You didn't go after that guy that was secure. You wanted shiny, shiny, bling, bling, gimme, 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 gimme. You didn't want to work with a man. You didn't want to, get with a man out of college and work together to accumulate together. No, that's not what you were taught. You were taught he has to have this amount of money, he has to be up here, and he has to do what I say. You can't make this stuff up. You truly can't. And now I see, especially in the schools, there is clash of the ideologies. You have feminism, feminists, oh my goodness. These young feminists are beyond out of control. They will get into your face, zero fear, because they know that if a boy were to push her, he's going to get in trouble. He has more problems than a little bit. And she knows this. She doesn't have fear because she doesn't have to have consequences. She will never, she can lie on a man, do whatever, and never be responsible. The only one that I know that was responsible was Amber Heard when Johnny Depp sued her for lying. And it seemed until this till to this day she still deals with that. Oh, the courts were wrong. The judge, the jury were allowed out. They were watching TV. It wasn't that they, listened to her and saw all the flaws and lies. No, but it's just these young girls watched their aunts, their mothers, their cousins, their friends behave in a manner to which they thought, I can do that. And absolutely do not. protect their brothers, their male cousins, or fathers from women like Amber Heard. She's a feminist, straight out feminist. Don't protect them at all. Leave them hanging out in the wind because they have to be at one with the sisterhood, regardless of who they step on. But again, as I said earlier, there is a change coming. And I see there's going to be gnashing of the teeth of this ideology that have gone awry. Oh my goodness, such gnashing of the teeth. And I see, and I'm starting to see glimpses of it now. And okay, I wasn't going to go in this direction, but I'm going to need to tie it in. Okay, there's a great emphasis placed in schools on liberal arts. Yeah, there is. And how does that equate to making money? It's not anything hard. Science, mathematics, engineering, and medicine is where all the money is. Not being a teacher, not being a social science scientist, none of those things. None of those things at all. Now you're going to see. I don't know how long this is going to take, so I'm predicting this and I'm putting this out there, time stamped on this video. You're going to see women marrying men that they normally would have not even given a chance to. It's kind of sad, but that's what they're going to do. Be with somebody. Okay, I looked over here, I looked over here, and there are no takers, but you are. Yes, I had been with 100 men, but that right there doesn't count. And yes, I have children by other men, and those guys, they didn't want to deal with me. They left me, but you can take care of me and my children. And there's really no guarantee that she's going to give him give him any children outside of what she already has. I just hope it gets better. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, does anybody want to let me check out the chat. Okay. Okay, so what are your thoughts? Do you think feminism has gone awry? Do you think it's going to come back to make sense like I believe it will? What are your thoughts on that? Now, oh, let me place a little emphasis on this in the 1990s. Embrace yourself for this. Embracing the spirit of rebellion instead of reform. Third wave feminists encourage women to express their sexualities and individuality. Many embraced a more traditional feminine style of dress and grooming and even rejected the term feminist as many as a way of distancing themselves from the second wave of their predecessors. Riot girl group like Bikini Kill, Bratmobile, and Heavens to Betsy. Just like I said earlier, it, but uh, the third feminist or the third wave feminists also sought out to be more inclusive when it came to race and gender. Well, they had to. The first wave of feminism was about white women. The second wave was still about white women, but black women were allowed to a certain point, and then black women went off to form their own group called womanism. So, okay, came to race and gender. Uh, the work of scholar and theorist Kimberly Crenshaw, the concept of intersexuality and how types of oppression based on race, class, gender, etc., can overlap and particularly influence in this area. The third wave of feminists also drew on the work of gender theorist Judith Butler, including support for trans rights in this type of intersectional feminism. Just like I said earlier, how transgenders came in within the woman's group and said, I'm oppressed too by how I feel. I mean, I have no words. I have no words for it. I truly don't. I'm going to leave that one all by itself. But in here, let me chime in a little bit more on the fourth wave of feminism, and 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 when the author says the fourth wave of feminism is relatively difficult to define, that is the truth. It is very hard to define it because there's so much in it. As some people argue, it's simply a combination of the third wave and the emergence of the internet has a certainly led to a new brand of social media fueled by activism. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Launched by, oh, let me try to get this name right. Tarana Burke in 2007. The Me Too movement took off in 2017 in the wake of the revelation of the sexual misconduct of influential film producer Harvey Weinstein. Now, the casting couch has been something that has been there ever since Hollywood became Hollywood. And even then, they had the casting couch for jobs um, in many places. And I'm going to go as far as saying is that, and I may get a little bit of backlash for this, but the truth is the truth. In the 60s and the 70s, there was so much sexual um, freedom to where women or they would have these parties to where women will put their hand and pull out a key, a car key, a man's car key, and go have pleasure. It was a free for all, and we need to be honest about that. It was a free fall. So now that we have the Me Too movement, to where now some of us are becoming more conservative in what we are not with that free love, no war, smoke weed type of mentality back then into now. But as I said, the social media has fueled it, but also the social media has added a level of to where you don't have to stand out on the street corner. No, no. But the sad part about it is any and everybody can view what you do. And no one should even put you down, and you should be able to find a man and get married, and then he should accept whatever you had done in front of that camera, or whatever you had done connecting with people. He's supposed to overlook that and accept it because it's you. We have to most definitely get our crazy sisters under control. We most definitely do. But I just wanted to bring out those points about the different waves of feminism, and did it go too far, or is it in our imaginations? And I would say it's both. It went too far, and it's in their imaginations. Let me see if there's any questions. Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for being here. And please, Marilyn Manson is innocent. Check out my merch store. Check that out. And I've been doing a lot of work on feminism, so check that out. Check out my other videos. And if you would like to support me, please do so. Like, subscribe, and if you want to help me, please do so. There are super chats. You can cash at me, Big Girl Diary, on PayPal or Cash App. But as far as that, you could be anywhere, which you are. You could be doing anything, which you are. You're watching my video. And one thing that you never get back is time. I hope my video was worth your time. On that note, I want to thank you for stopping by.